Hey guys, it's Kate and I hope you're having a fabulous day today. I'm doing a new sketchbook that I just started working in a couple of weeks ago actually, and I wanted to try something with a ton of texture. So I started off with a base layer of ultramarine blue and let it dry, and then I'm coming in with a second layer of titanium white. Now you could work dark over light, light over dark, but I'm going in with my stylus over the second layer of wet paint, so you get these really wonderful scribble marks all over the page, and I'm just going over and over it till you get this lovely texture. And so that is going to be my base layer. I missed filming the first little set of leaves here, but they're just very simple. I mixed some phthalo blue with lemon yellow, and I've also got some ultramarine blue that I'm going to be mixing to make more of a muted green for some more leaf layers. But I really wanted to do a lot of patterns and texture on this one and just really experiment with different techniques with the acrylic paint. But I ended up making this really cute little folk art, kind of painting with a bird, a mama bird feeding her babies out of a flower. So it ended up being a really fun and cute painting in my sketchbook. But I've also started using those little clips to hold down the pages, and those are a game changer too. And for some of these pages, I've kind of stopped bothering doing a frame too. It's just nice to kind of jump in with the paint and just start getting some colors down on there. I have been a lot more prolific in the past, I'd say 2 or 3 months, and most of it is just being really intentional on the time that I'm spending. Even if it's only 10 or 15 minutes, I try to do something every day. And it's hard when you're working and you have other things going on and other responsibilities. So I just try to grab some time whenever I can and get something on the paper. And so when I do my flip throughs on my sketchbooks, they're kind of all over the place. Some of them you can see take a lot more time, and I spent more time working on details, and then some other ones, they're just really fast little projects to get some color down on paper. And those are really great because you don't have to be, creating something that is, the best of your skills or the best anything really. It's just the activity of painting or drawing or doodling itself that just really opens up your mind, relaxes you, and can really get those creative juices flowing. And if you have more time, even if you're not feeling creative, these sort of warm-ups can really turn into something special or get those creative juices flowing and make you more likely to make something that you really do love. So this one was one of those things. And after I let all of those little leaves and pink circles in the background that are sort of like a loose representation of flowers, I started working on a tree branch and a base flower. And this is kind of where I started having the idea of just making a little bird. And then I was thinking, well, I could do a big flower at the bottom and it would almost be like the little bird's nest, but instead of a nest, it'd be a flower, and the little babies could be having their heads poking out. So I just decided to go with it, and it's just a very simple little sort of doodly painting, but I really loved it, and I love that texture on the bottom, and that simple scribbling with the stylus really added something to this, and it ended up being a page that was really filled with just different textures, different patterns. I ended up using my fine liners on here. But while I'm doing this bird, I'm just putting down a white base because I want to make it a nice warm yellow peach color. And I don't want the background to come through too much on that. I wanted it to be a nice clean color. So I'm letting that dry and putting in my little baby birds here, just like a little paint sketch of them. And while that's drying, I'll add some marks to my leaves. I ended up putting marks on just about everything in here, I think. And as I'm waiting for one part to dry, I'm working on another area of the page. So now that I've got my bird in, I'm really going and working on the rest of those little tree branches, and I'm having them just go wherever they want to go. And I wanted to wait to do those until I knew where I was going to place my other objects in the painting. So that really helped me to come up with a better layout for this page. You know, I just basically put in my very main branch at first because I knew the general area where I wanted to place my bird, but I liked waiting until after I had painted those things to put in the rest of my tree branches so that I could really kind of frame out everything and make sure I had good placement, that it wasn't going to be too crowded or anything like that. So while my white paint is drying, I'm going in with my fine liners, those colored ones that I got from Hobby Lobby, and my cat Scampy came to inspect my work, so I slowed it down a little bit here. She was just kind of hanging out by my arm, wanting some pets, and she was making sure I was doing a good job, so she really helps keep me honest and keeps me productive. So she's my little sidekick. And anyway, I'm going to continue here with the fine liner. I put some little simple patterns in those pink blob shapes. And now I'm making that nice sort of golden peach color for the bird. And the reason I chose that is because even though the pink on the page is a bit of a warmer color when you're considering the whole spectrum, it's kind of a cool shade of pink. And so is the blue and the green. Those are kind of a bit on the cooler side. And so I wanted to make something a little bit contrasting with that so it really popped out. And since the birds are my focal point, I wanted to really make those warm and bright and a little bit different than all the other colors on the page. And then also because of that, I end up adding some sort of purpley color blend to that flower so that the little baby birds contrast with that even more. So that's what I'm doing right now. Actually, I'm just mixing up a color and I'm kind of glazing over those flower petals to make them a little bit darker, a little bit more of a blue purple. And that way you can see the birds even better, because that peachy color kind of blends in with that pink a little bit. And now I'm working on those bird feet, but I ended up dropping a big blob of water, so I had to kind of mop that up with the brush. And I wanted to make the feet bright. I was going to keep them a dark blue, but they just blended in too much with the tree branch, and it looked like the bird didn't have any feet. So I made them white, and I end up going over them to mark a little bit to turn them a little bit of a brown color and put in the little bird eyes. And then at this point I was looking, after I finished this little wing with some nice bright yellow and white, and the only thing that I had left on the page that didn't have marks on it besides the bird was those first layer of leaves that I have on the very bottom, the sort of mint green looking leaves. And so that will be the last thing that I kind of add some sort of pattern to, and then we'll call this done. But this was such a fun little page to do, and I've really enjoyed kind of going outside my comfort zone a little bit. I have definitely developed a love for drawing and painting birds, and it's been kind of fun figuring out what kind of different things I can do with them. You know, you can just sort of paint a bird over and over, or you can try to be a little bit more creative with what the bird's doing, where it is, and that's been kind of a fun activity in the sketchbook. So now I'm going in and adding that nice pop of orange to the bird, and it just really helps it pop out from the background more. So I really love the end result of this, and it was relaxing to do. It did take some time because I had to wait for different paint layers to dry and stuff, but it was a really relaxing process, this one, and it was a lot of fun just to kind of experiment with the colors. So now we're going to do the close-up, and my favorite thing is that stylus texture on here is wonderful. But I hope you give this a try. I hope you enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep creating.